live, baby.
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripes Show. We're brought to you today by Game Time, the best way to get tickets to Major League Baseball games. Scott, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well, man. You know, this Yankees finished that home stand like they needed to against your favorite division in baseball. So they did what they had to after a scuffle with the San Francisco Giants, and I'm glad they did because they have a pretty tough stretch coming up. I mean, there's no off day, from the homestand, and then they're going down off. When I say tough stretch, I mean they're going on the road. It's a 7-game road trip with no days off. So this is going to be an interesting time for the bullpen and the pitching staff, and see how they can be managed. But yeah, man, like leaving home with a sweep is a damn good thing. And I thought we saw some really good things against Kansas City, which made me very happy going into the show, because if it were flipped, then it's a different story when you're talking about what just happened with the Giants. But it didn't just happen, because the Royals happened after that, and that's great.
You want me to do the thing?
No, I don't.
I could do the thing. I could talk about the AL Central, but I think anyone who's listened to the show for any number of months already knows how I feel about the AL Central. I agree with you, though. A lot of good things came out of that Kansas City series. There was a lot of bad things in that San Francisco series. Yeah. And honestly, there was some bad things over the past 10 or 12 days of baseball leading into that Kansas City series. Outside of that first weekend against the Brewers, which feels like ages ago already, the team really hadn't been playing very well.
Yeah, like inconsistency. You see the pitching staff, obviously, especially the starting pitching staff,
was terrible.
Just been bad. Yeah, they've been really bad, except for Max Fried, obviously, who I loved seeing. How the team reacted to him on in his start the other day. And to me, when I'm watching him, just like gut check, watching this guy throw, I think I said this before, something similar to it, but he just feels like he's in control. You know what I mean? Like, even when things are going bad to his standards, he's got high standards. He reminds me of Cole in that regard, where you can tell he's a little bit of a perfectionist. He's got that itch to be on every single pitch. He takes accountability, and he's just a guy you can get behind. And I think that's a really good thing for this team. And obviously they needed it, because with Cole out, with Heel out, they needed a guy to anchor this rotation, and I think he's doing a fantastic job doing in that spot.
Do you remember off the top of your head how much Fried makes yearly? I know it was like a $210 million contract, but I forget the AAV, whatever it was.
I gotta tell you,
slightly more than Rodon, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a little bit above that,
$1 million or $2 million above Rodon. And when you can just compare the two pitchers, and to your point, the poise on the mound, and like the command of the game, and ability to, when things are going wrong, fix yourself and calm things down. Rodon has none of that. He spirals like anyone, like as bad as anyone I've ever seen on a baseball field. Rodon spirals. And it's just amazing to think, like, that guy's making $28 million a year, and Fried is signed for roughly the same amount AAV. And the quality of just poise on the mound is night and day.
It speaks to the market at the time when you're looking for a particular fit for your team, and
right place, right time, I guess, for Carlos.
Absolutely, like that. That's it. And it's so funny because now I feel like I've been so desensitized to contracts at this point, and who's making what, and are they valuable for whatever. It's
monopoly money.
It's so whacked out as far as the value and what you're looking at, and it changes. And then you see what the contract was for offensive players now, for Soto and for Vlad Jr. And it's crazy. So are they all making a lot of money? Yeah, they're all making a lot of money. And to me, like that's it. It's so difficult to even look at the justification for a contract, because none of it's justified. And two, it does depend on when they went to the market over the last 5 years or so, and depending on what was the need of a team, and what was the weakness of that free agency period, and as far as positions go, and weakness by lot size, I think. And there's just more teams paying a lot of money now too. So everybody seems like they're getting big contracts from every team except for the Athletics.
The right place, right time for Rodon is definitely true. But has anyone ever been better right place, right time than Marcus Stroman when he signed for 18 million AAV with the Yankees?
Yeah.
I mean, God, is that a waste of money? He is not a major league caliber pitcher. And now he's on the IL with some knee injury. Is that a real injury or not? I don't really care. But he can't get major league hitters out. I don't think he can get minor league hitters out. I was joking. I don't think he could miss high school bats at this point.
It's funny because when Cashman signed him, it was a later signing that added a depth piece in what we thought was, a number 3 with the potential for higher than that in a rotation, coming off of what he did with the Cubs. And I know he kind of had a split year based on, first half, second half. And he just hasn't been the same guy. You're right. Like the stuff isn't there. His ability to I say work the edge of the plate. Some will say nibble, some will say, but that was his strength, for the long time when he was an effective pitcher. And he's just not able to consistently do that anymore. And that is leading to just more barrels. And unfortunately for him, he can't get out of trouble. And, whether this is an injury that's truly affecting the way he pitches, or it's just a convenient way to say, hey, let me take a beat and come back and see if we can restart the wagons to with some better results. I don't know, but either way, it's not a bad time to sit down.
Well, because Clark Schmidt came back last night, so they were going to have to make a move on the roster anyway to make room for Clark Schmidt. Last week we discussed it was probably going to be Will Warren, because Will Warren, obviously still new and still working on things. He had been up and down. He had one good start and one bad start, I think, to that point. And that would have just been the easy move. Okay, Will Warren, thanks for the couple starts. Go back down to AAA, and you'll be the first guy back up whenever we need somebody. But,
options.
Marcus Stroman was so bad, they were forced to, I think, put him on the IL because you could not have him go out and make another start after he started the game on Friday against the Giants with a double on the first pitch, walk, 3-run home run, walk, double. Like, what is that? If he threw the ball near the plate, not even over the plate, near the plate, it was pummeled.
Yeah. I will say this. Yes, he has not been good, and no, he's had a difficult time hitting missing bats. But when you start out like that as a major league pitcher, like it does raise flags to something's going on. Like that's egregiously bad when you're doing that. So that is a flag. So if there's an injury and the injury is affecting the way he's pitching, then okay, then get right, come back, and maybe that's something. But it was his left knee though, correct? And that's an odd thing. Like
yes, your left knee, so that's your plant leg.
Right. So of all the things that you can
it could have been an ankle, it could have been a shoulder, it could have been a lower back, it could have been he could have had like a canker sore for all I'm
just saying for your
they
left
were
knee
going to put him on the IL regardless after that game.
For the left knee though, like that doesn't affect as much in what you're doing. If it were your right, if you're a drive leg, if it were anything having to do with your midsection or your shoulder or your back, but actually it's in the one spot that that doesn't have as much to do with how you throw a ball.
Okay. Well, whether the injury is legit or not, since July 1st of last season, Stroman's made 15 major league starts. In 68 and a third innings pitched, he's allowed 99 hits and 51 earned runs.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big sample size to say you're a bad pitcher.
That's exactly right. You're not a major league caliber pitcher at that point.
Yeah. And Cookie Carrasco went through an entire year last year putting up numbers that were representative of that. But you know what? That guy, I'm throwing out. This is my convenient throw out. We get a couple of them per year whenever we need to use them for an argument, and I'm going to do it right now. The one that the start that we saw in Detroit, I'm actually throwing out that entire Detroit series, just even
too cold, too chilly,
too cold. It was snowing. Like none of that is real. So I'm throwing it away. He's an older guy, joints get tight. I'm just going to dismiss that and say that, let's look at the other couple starts that he's had. And he's grinded through some. He's done exactly what the Yankees want him to do, and in this last outing, he did more so. So he's not a problem right now at all.
No, he is pitching the way Marcus Stroman should be pitching. Like the way Cookie Carrasco so far has pitched to what I was hoping Marcus Stroman could be, which what you saw the other night against Kansas City wasn't great. He was also nibbling, but he was getting swings and misses on his off-speed stuff, and he gave them a serviceable start. Is the difference potentially AL Central versus NL West? Yeah, I think that's a factor. There's, I think, other factors as well where I think Marcus Stroman just stinks. I don't think Carrasco's good either. I don't think Carrasco is a major league pitcher, again, despite what we saw the other night. But right now, he's a hell of a lot better of an option than Stroman is. And with Clark Schmidt coming back, Stroman is by far and away the worst starting pitcher that they had on this roster. You had to take him out. If they get when they give him another chance, at some point he'll get another chance. If he goes out and continues to pitch to a 6.70 ERA, like, I'm sorry, you have to waive him. You can't do that.
Who do you want to get to here's a good question. Who would you rather hit the innings limit? Marcus Stroman or Ryan Yarbrough?
Well, there's an innings incentive.
There's an innings, it's an incentive to
Stroman, right?
To trigger another year.
Okay, but Yarborough's what, a couple $1 million?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but you have to then deal with Yarbrough also pitching for that many innings.
What do you mean deal with? Yarbrough is going to be pitching garbage innings anyway.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember my flag with Yarbrough? If Yarbrough is up past whatever the number that we had set an over/under on for him, I was like, that's going to be a telling story that things are not going well if he's throwing that many innings. But if Stroman's out, and I understand Yarbrough doesn't have to fill into a spot right now because they have the pitching depth to do it currently. But yeah, the innings limit is another piece to remember for Stroman. When I say innings limit, the innings trigger, the incentive for him
155 innings, I think, from memory. There's no way he gets to 50 innings. I'm sorry. I have never seen that. Might have been the worst Major League Baseball start I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, well, the fact that he, is on the sidelines for a bit does help the fact. But look, man, seeing Clark Schmidt back was good. We could talk about that for a second because he got tired. You could tell he got tired into that last start. He didn't, he wasn't going to throw deep into the game.
He was on a 75 pitch limit, was it?
And he went out right around 75, 74, 75.
But honestly, he could have come out the inning before, I think, at like 6. I think he was gassed after those 5 innings. I think that was the time to get him out of the game.
Well, maybe they just, Boone wanted to get him out from sitting one more time, get through another inning of just going through the motions, and they pulled him. I actually thought that Boone did some good things this week. This is the second show in a row that I've said some things. I know we don't do that here. We're going to talk about the game of the week because that's a new thing that we're going to be doing, and I'm going to praise him. I'm going to praise him for something that he did, and I'm also going to praise the New York Yankees for another thing that when we get to it, I'll leave that as a cliffhanger. But I have another praise for the New York Yankees in something that they have done this week that was different and felt different than they have done in years past. So I'm excited to give some flowers to people that deserve it.
Recording once a week has made you soft. Well, you've gone soft in your old age, Scott.
I'm looking for good things.
Now that Kemp is has a rooting interest, you've gone soft.
Man, let me tell you about that real quick. Kemp down the line, hit a ball down the line. He's turning on the ball. His timing, his swing is getting good, like in a really good spot. He's getting his hips engaged. It's like you're starting to see baseball. He played second base for an inning the other day, and there was a ball hit to the shortstop. This kid went and covered the bag because there was a runner on first and caught the ball for a force play. It was amazing. It was a real baseball play that happened before my eyes. So
what is he? He's in. Do the coaches pitch in the level?
They have a machine in this one. They call it Little League. It's rookie ball. So they have a really terrible mechanical machine that throws spring-loaded machine that throws. And is way more inconsistent than if it were a coach were to pitch. But some little leagues have coach pitch in this place at this age group, and then they move up to I think what they call little league minors, and that's when the kids start pitching.
Is it actually a baseball game though? Like, are they
Yeah.
actually? Is it 9 position players and everything? Like, it's actual. Well, I guess 8 position
The
players. There's
infield
just no
is
pitchers.
the infield is true to the position. Sometimes they throw a couple extra outfielders out there.
Because I remember I was talking to a friend of mine who also he's actually Will, who's the Mets fan. He's written into the show a number of times. He has 2 young boys who play now at this point, like Little League and everything. But he's like, when they were at that level that Kemp is, every now and again you'd see like an actual baseball play, like covering the bag and catching it, and you're like, oh, that's baseball.
Yeah, when you see a kid make a play, a ground ball, and then a throw, and then the first baseman catches it, like all of those things, when you have to combine multiple plays in baseball at that age, it's very exciting to watch and see it happen. And the kids light up too. Like you can tell that they know that they did something well. So it's fun.
The other night when the Yankees hit it was 4 home runs, or it was 4 home runs, but 3 in 1 inning against the Royals.
Yeah.
Harrison was watching the game with me at that point. And I was like, oh, Harrison, another home run. And he goes, just like we saw at the baseball game. So I was like,
nice.
You
remember
something from then. Awesome. That's enough. That's enough for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Harrison's going to have some great reactions to when he starts getting into it. That kid is hilarious. So I can only see how excited he's going to get.
So to your point, though, that Schmidt coming back couldn't have come at a better time is obvious, because the rotation really had been, I think if you just look at any area of the team, that had been the number one weak point so far in the season, because outside of Fried, everyone had been a disaster. And Rodon on Sunday against the Giants looked like he was having a strong start. Through late into that game, he had made one mistake pitch, and it was a solo home run to Jung-Hoo Lee. And you're like, okay, if you're going to make one mistake and it's a solo home run, like, you're going to live with that. But then he gets to the point again, facing Lee with 2 runners on this time, and he hangs a curveball on a 1-2 pitch. Yeah. It's another hanging breaking ball. And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking, I'm like, Rodon, if you can't execute a pitch in that situation, what good are you? What are you here for?
Yeah, and that's the guy, when you're looking at Lee, Lee's a guy, I like him as a baseball player. I actually had him in my offseason plans when he was coming over.
From the
he's a good defender.
KBL.
He gets on base at a high clip, lots of hits. Not a power guy by any means, but overall, like, really good baseball player. And when you give him that cement mixer up in the zone to a lefty at Yankee Stadium, to a guy that doesn't hit home runs, it's probably the only place that you can place it for him on a tee, essentially, for him to be able to get that stroke into right field. And he did it twice. And yes, when you hang a ball there, a guy that has a high percentage of contact and can hit a barrel, and you literally are putting it in the spot for him to be able to elevate and get it into the stands twice in a row, the same pitch. It's really an inexcusable type of pitch, especially for him when he needs to get through these starts and not make these mistakes. Because Rodon, this is his MO. He's strong until he makes the mistake, and the mistake is not. But the mistake is not a solo shot. The mistake is a 3-run home run usually.
That costs him the game.
It's a big home run. It's a pivotal spot in the game, and yeah, he like, the emotions for him, like, for whatever reason, he's just not there. He's not mentally strong to get through an entire start consistently at all. Julio called him, I test Rodon equals Pineda. Yeah, like, minus the flailing arms, you see it in other ways with the way that he that reacts. But similar in regards where, the bad stuff gets to him and you can see it.
Yeah, I think, at least though, with Pineda, I feel like he had more variety of pitches.
He was a stuff guy. That's why I liked him so much. It was so aggravating watching him, because his stuff was so good. Rodon's stuff is like, eh.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I look at Rodon's stuff and I'm like, okay, it's a fastball and a slider. Like that's it. That's all you have. So I'm reading from an MLB article. So first, about the home run. Boone acknowledged Rodon is, quote, prone to the long ball. That's an understatement. Since July 7th, 2023, the date of Rodon's first Yankees debut, he leads the majors with 51 home runs allowed in 50 starts.
That's a lot, man.
51 home runs in 50 starts.
And when you're looking at the types of pitches too, it's because he's leaving the ball up in the zone in situations where you cannot do that. to players that you cannot do that to. And that's just not executing in a big moment, that's not executing. And unfortunately, does it have anything? I wish I could see how many runs came off of those home runs, but more often than not, it does look like there are runners on. It feels like there are runners on base when he's doing it. Those aren't the Garrett Cole solo home runs. Garrett Cole was always at the top of the Verlander, also always at the top of the league with home runs allowed. But these guys would minimize damage because they would attack players when they had situations to attack, and they would be able to go after them with solo shots. And if they give up a home run, they give up a home run.
But also with those guys, yes, they total home runs, they would be near the top, but not home runs per 9 because they were pitching more innings than other guys.
Yeah,
Rodon is leading the league in home runs, but also home runs per 9 this year because he's not pitching a lot of innings and he's still giving up a lot of home runs. Yeah. All the mistakes he makes leave the park.
With the runners on base.
With the runners on base. Reading again from this article, it was the 6th inning on Sunday, and Rodon stood on the mound, baseball resting in his glove as the Yankees discussed their plan against hot-hitting Jung-Hoo Lee. All day long, an electric slider had been the left-hander's favorite weapon, but the last one he threw to this particular batter had landed in the seats. Lee would be looking for that pitch again, they reasoned, so it would be best to keep it holstered. Rodon first attacked with 4 fastballs, then hung a curveball that Lee parked for a go-ahead through a home run. Like, yes, I know it technically wasn't the same pitch. He hung a slider in his first at-bat, and then he hung a curveball in the next at-bat. But tomato. It's a hanging breaking ball in the middle of the plate.
Exactly. Up in the zone, too, to a lefty where you're basically putting it on his barrel, for where he swings. You're literally putting it in that slot for a lefty that has that uppercut, able to get it to right field for that. And when you're looking at a slider or a curveball, like when you're throwing a ball that spins and doesn't spin, they look the same as far as the result. And that's as Rob is saying in the chat, that's not what you want. It's not what you want. And I don't know where the solution is for him, because it's all about him not executing in big moments. It's not like he's going out there and having bad starts and he's not executing pitches. He's executing pitches. He's not doing it in the biggest moments when he needs to execute the pitches. And that's just a significant problem that I don't know how you clean up besides, getting to the mentals.
Again, going back to the comparison with Fried's able to lock in those moments. Rodon is not able to lock in. He melts.
Yeah. And the melting, it affects the execution of the pitch.
Do you remember the playoff start he had, I guess, against Kansas City, where he just was screaming at the top of his lungs after the first strikeout? It was just like, this dude is not all there mentally.
Right. And, it was discussed. And then the next time he was just like, you could see him just like breathing heavy out of his nose. He's like, I gotta keep it in. I gotta keep it in. I gotta keep it in. I don't know. He's one of these, he's a meathead. And I think, the meathead just gets to just goes throughout his body in moments that he can't control. I don't know what it is, man. But and again, Yankees need him to be able to do this.
Need him to.
The problem is that when you're looking at a sample size like that, when you're seeing the player that he is from the time that he's come over here, that's the player that he is. So you're just kind of hoping in those big moments with fingers crossed that he doesn't hang a ball. I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm just, sitting on the edge of my seat with my fingers crossed and hoping he doesn't leave a pitch up in the zone, knowing that he very well might.
Yankees still had opportunities to win that game too, because it was only they had 3 more innings against the Giants bullpen, and they did nothing. They hit one solo. They hit one solo home run, but the one hit they got one hit against the Giants bullpen. It was a solo home run from Jazz, and that's it.
Yeah, they strike out a lot. When they're up against good pitching, they strike out a lot, and
and I get it. Everyone strikes out a lot. That's Major League Baseball now. It's just.
Yeah, nasty weather doesn't help matters either with that. So again, I'm just gonna throw some things away.
Enough with the weather. I heard Boone. I heard Boone talking about, we're excited to go to Florida. It's going to be warm when we get off the airplane. It's like complaining about the weather. Like, you guys, everyone, the team you're playing is also dealing with the weather. It's not only cold for you guys.
It's a human right to complain about the weather. Okay, it's also part of the fabric of being someone from the Northeast and the New York. Like, it gives you that edge. The weather is a big reason why people are pissed off a lot, because it's cold, it's raining, and it's in your face like constantly in these moments, and especially in the winter. And as you're transitioning into the good weather, you're longing for that weather. Okay, so I
let George build the dome. Then he wanted to build the dome. and didn't get approved.
Well, we are going to a George themed park coming up, which is going to be fun because the balls are leaving that place in
I know.
at a record pace.
Yeah. Well, it turns out major league hitters hitting in Florida as the weather gets warmer is different than minor league single A hitters hitting in Florida when the weather gets warmer.
Well, also, if you look at the way the stadium is, there's nothing around it. There's no upper deck.
Any
there's
gust
no
of wind is just going to
boom. It's just like an absolute jet stream going. It's like an air show. They're just coming down and
they should build some nets around the end. You got to hit it over the net.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, that reminds me. I meant to text you, and I didn't want to ruin it for you. And I see, this is what I do. Okay. I'm considerate. I like to make sure that, you're not brought down in something that you really enjoy. So I did not text you, but I'm going to talk about it right now. We watched Angels in the Outfield on Friday. We do a movie night.
Love it.
That movie is so bad. And like unequivocally, just a bad movie in general. And then like at the end of it, like the last 20 minutes, they pull on the heartstrings, they get you, and you're like, God damn it. Like, all right. Like, and that's the only part, but everything leading up to the last 20 or 30 minutes of the movie is just awful. Absolutely awful. And so I know that it's the reason I'm saying is because if people are listening, don't know, it's your favorite baseball movie, which is
I never said
that. You said
maybe I said that at one point. It was my favorite baseball movie as a kid. I wouldn't say it's my favorite baseball movie now. I haven't seen it in years. I'm probably going to watch it with Harrison at some point. I watched The Sandlot with Harrison last summer because that's still on Disney. Still plays. Yeah. So
Angels in the Outfield is also on Disney.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize. But did Kemp like it?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay. So exactly,
he got the feel.
That movie came out in the mid '90s. I was 7 years old in the mid '90s. Of course, I liked that movie.
Yeah, you got angels. You were flying around.
You were 15 when that movie came out. Of course, you didn't like it.
Stupid. What a dumb movie. Then at the end, Danny Glover, spoiler alert, goes out and adopts the kids. And how are you not going to feel good about that?
Well, you mentioned Game of the Week. We are doing the Game of the Week brought to you by Game Time with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time tickets takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Our listeners can get $20 off their first purchase when you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Bronx at checkout. Let's talk about the Game of the Week. It has to be Tuesday's win over Kansas City. That game had comebacks, had a huge hit from Dominguez, which we need to talk about.
From the right side.
It had Fried battling and the first ever Devin Williams clean ninth inning.
Thank God. Thank God we saw something that out of him that looked like what I was expecting. Made someone look dumb on the airbender, which was fun. The biggest thing, like I touched on this earlier.
You make an AL Central hitter look dumb on the airbender. Whee!
Okay. When you have Max Fried out there battling, again, making a couple mistakes, solo shots, again, nothing hurt. Like the guy, and like immediately just pounding his chest. That's on me. I made a bad pitch. I didn't execute that pitch, which is just like, I love to see that. Can that please just look at that and take that through the rotation of the New York Yankees. But the Yankees stayed in that game. They battled back. They worked against Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha is
he was cruising through.
He's good, man. Judge has terrible numbers off him. Over his career, first at bat, hit that ball over the right fielder's ahead and really started just getting going. And he is locked in. I know we need to talk about Judge for a little bit more, just to concentrate it because that guy is on another planet. But when they got to hit Wacha got pulled because he had started walking guys. They were having patient at bats, and then you see Dominguez up with a huge moment. I mean, you could name this his Yankees moment.
Did he earn the beard? Did he earn the beard?
I think so. Yes. Like I'm seeing a different guy with him. You're seeing obviously the night before. Was it the night before that, or was that Tuesday night?
Monday he made nice plays in left field. Yeah. And it was actually, so Monday's game I actually noticed because he made athletic plays in the outfield. He was running and he was aggressive going after balls and making the catches versus tentatively catching everything. That was the first time I noticed him actually like playing left field versus not making mistakes in left field.
Brandon Cuddy put out something on Twitter showing Dominguez. I love when they do this because it helps the narrative. But Dominguez out before the game, shagging balls, working with Rojas in left field. Like, this kid obviously works hard and wants to be a great player, and he's working at it. And you're seeing the confidence for him. This is a kid that is, as athletically gifted as it comes. You don't get much more athletically gifted than Jason Dominguez in the way that he is built to be a baseball player. And you're starting to see that now take over because the confidence level is starting to rise. And the fact that he got that hit from the right side, they flipped him around, got him to the right side, where he is not as good of a hitter, by a pretty good stretch.
Kay mentioned the numbers last night. He was something like 4 for 50 or 4 for 48 from the right side.
Yeah. So when you have a huge moment like that, Yankee Stadium, bases juiced with 2 outs, right? There were 2 outs. I believe there were. He makes that, he hits that ball, wraps the bat around his head, hits his helmet off because he's swinging with reckless abandon.
Knocked his contact. He hit his contact lens out of his eye.
Yeah. And clears the bases, standing on second base. Like, you can't quantify how massively important that is for a young guy who has a lot of expectation in a position that the Yankees have not been able to fill for years and years and years since Brett Gardner left. Come through in that moment. That was just icing on the cake for that game. And then with getting that close, finally a nice clean inning. Everything went well in that game. It was an awesome game.
That's right. Definitely the game of the week. And if you are looking for tickets to Major League Baseball this season, look no further than Game Time. I've used Game Time several times and I love it. I especially appreciate the all-in pricing feature because I hate getting to the checkout screen and then you're hit with additional fees. It just feels dirty. Just tell me what the price is going to be up front so you don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Game Time just does that. The app has so many great features, including last-minute deals, which are great if you have the flexibility to purchase the tickets day of or even the day before. There's the lowest price guarantee as well. If you find tickets in the same section row for less money, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account and redeem code BRONX for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you so much to Game Time for sponsoring today's episode.
Real quick, before you transition to the next thing, I want to give the flowers that I was talking about because this is kind of the moment where I was doing it. And before I do that, I want to say thank you to you. These cups at Yankee Stadium, if they're the aluminum cups, if you're looking at YouTube, they come with a beer. The beer stays cold for a little bit longer unless it's a really hot day, and then there's just a lot of conductive elements happening with the heat and the cold beer, and it doesn't stay as cold. But when you put ice in this thing and you fill it up with frost, like anything, oh my God, does it stay cold and it's delicious. So thank you for leaving it. And I grabbed it, of course, because that's what I do. It's a good cup. You got to keep it. You got to treat it with respect because it'll get dented and messed up. But
yeah, they are a little thin.
But it's good. It's holding up, and I appreciate you leaving it by accident. So I grabbed it.
Well, you taking it from me, like, totally fine. Like, if you took it from a stranger, that's where I have a problem.
I'm still washing it, whether it's from you or someone else. Like,
but it's
just gonna wash it.
Something about
it's gonna get disinfected. I say thank you to the stranger. I got no problem with that. I will grab a stranger's cup at the end of the game if they leave it. I have no qualms about it. I've done it many times, and I'll continue to do it. Real quick, flowers. 3 things actually that I forgot. Jason Dominguez that you just mentioned. He got pulled from that game after
immediately came out.
Immediately. There were 2 outs because he got out. He had to go. He was on the base path, and immediately he got pulled out. Turns out he got pulled. Boone's been doing this consistently. He's talked about it.
He did it the night before after making nice plays in left field.
Yes.
He got pulled.
Yes. Whatever. It is what it is. However, this moment is a moment where Dominguez is like, I can't see. My contact is out of my eye. I can't see. Last year, the Yankees of old, Verdugo 1000% goes and plays left field with 1 contact. I promise you he does that. A ball hits, and we hear about it later that he couldn't see the damn ball, and that's what happened. So that's number 1. I appreciate the fact that he said that because some people would not say that. He couldn't see the ball. He's not going out there with 1 contact with all the pressure that's on him and people that are like waiting for him to like screw up in left field. So I appreciate that. It's good awareness. Number 2, in that same game, Max Fried hadn't walked a guy, gets into that was the 7th inning, right? When he was pulled.
He pitched 6 2/3.
Yep. So he was right there, but walked 2 guys in that inning. Boone came out. They had Luke Weaver ready to go. Pulled him. Fried said, "I got this." Boone, I appreciate you. We got Weaver ready. He pulled him. That was the right move. That was the absolute right move. Some would say, let him finish the inning. He showed signs of being tired, of losing his control a little bit. So I thought it was a good moment for him to do that. So I applaud him for taking him out. Weaver's been fantastic in that fire extinguisher role, because he's really being executed or implemented as that. And he's just been really, really good. And then number 3, this is off the field. Luis Gil was going to start throwing the ball, coming off of, starting to ramp up again. But you know what they did? They did an MRI before he went and started throwing. And the doctor said, you know what? I don't like the pace at which in which that's healing. Let's give him another week so that we could get a little bit more, so that I feel more comfortable before he starts throwing a ball. Again, totally off script for what the Yankees have done in the past. If you remember, Luis Severino coming back from injury, no MRI, just went back into his rehab, starting to throw, immediately does something, gone. And that's exactly what we're on the cusp of that with Gil. If Gil has any setbacks, we're very, very much looking at him being done and shut down for the year. So they need to be very careful with the ramp up and be damn sure that his body and the things that they believe are not well with him are healed, or at least at their best. They're doing everything they possibly can to make sure that he is in the right spot to start that rehab. So they set him back another week, and we'll look at it again without nothing hurt. Like, he's not coming back for a little while. He's got to ramp up. So who gives a shit? Make it another week. That's fine.
Well, that's the thing, because he was already on like a August timeline probably anyway. So 10 more days. What's 10 more days? I guess the concern is, okay, there's still partial tear in there.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily partial tear, or it's just not there, but either way, like, that's there no matter what, right? Like,
no, I know, but it's just, I agree with you, because the Yankees of previous years would have had him go out and start throwing, and then he would have injured it more and then been shut down for the entire year. Yes. But so they at least got out ahead of it this time. I guess my concern is like, okay, well, it's been 6 weeks since he was shut down and it's still not healed fully. In 10 days, is it going to be healed fully? Who the hell knows? Maybe, maybe not. It's not going to be long until we're at the point where it's just not healing. He's shut down for the year.
And that's, to me, that's a different story. Like, that is what it is. If that's the case, they're obviously trying to get him back this year. But if they're not able to, I think that's what they're looking for. Is time going to be on their side for healing him? No pun intended, to get to the point where he can come back and help this team. And if it doesn't, like, again, not much different. He's going to have to either get surgery or shut him down, or whatever that looks like. But again, I'm glad they're being cautious. I think that's definitely the right move.
So I don't know, going back to the Dominguez getting pulled from the game, I don't know what they're doing still, because I do believe he came out of Tuesday's game because of the contact issue. Because if you remember, Trent Grisham was late coming out of the dugout because he probably was not prepared to go in the game, because Dominguez came off the field and said, my contact's gone. And then Boone had to be like, okay, Trent, get out there. So I do believe that's what happened. But the night before, Dominguez made 3 really nice catches in left field. One of them on Sal Perez, which was the highlight reel play, the leaping catch, had a 550 expected batting average. So that was a ball that not every left fielder catches. Okay. He also made a nice play running in towards the left field line, and he made a nice play running to his left. So he made plays running all over the place. The first time, like I said, he actually played a good left field, but he got pulled from that game for defense. He got pulled for Bellinger, to put Bellinger in the game, who has been resting, because is he fully healthy? I don't really know. Boone saying, just getting him some rest time because we've got this 13-day no off day stretch. We know he had food poisoning the week before in Detroit. We know he missed a game in Pittsburgh because of a sore back, or 2 games in Pittsburgh because of a sore back. So, Bellinger's an injury guy. Is he fully healthy? Do you really need to put him in for defense if he's got a rest day? So I still don't know what they're doing with Dominguez.
Well, he talked about, I saw him talk about it with Jimmy on their show this week. He was talking basically about the plan that they have. They have a plan that he is going to be pulling him. and using the players on the team in moments where they're best positioned to win a game. And it's hard to argue. Look, I'm where I stand with this. Like, I want the young guys to play. I want him to be able to get that confidence. I think that pulling him out in a game, especially after making those good plays, is not the best for a motivation factor. But the way he addressed it, which, okay, fine, this is the way you want to do it, then this is the way you want to do it. They have a plan coming into this year saying that Dominguez is going to, or they're going to get Grisham into the game, at least for the first couple months of this season, to see how it goes and just to build that confidence and continue to work with Dominguez. And they're just sticking to what that plan is, no matter what they're seeing on the field necessarily, and not deviating from the plan for a little bit. And it's hard to say that, okay, you want to deviate from that plan. Well, you're putting in a far inferior player for the offense. If that's the case, Grisham's hitting now too, and he is a better defender. No, I know, but it makes it more of a, okay, you're utilizing your roster for what you have, because Grisham is a better defender. Like, you.
Did Scott just leave? Did Scott just? Oh boy, what happened?
Did
you just?
I did
left.
nothing. I think we're back.
I don't know if we're still live. It says we're live and recording.
Yeah, we should be back. Guys in the chat, can you see us? We're still here? Yeah. Okay, a little technical glitch. I think we're back and still good.
And now I'm on the opposite side. It's throwing me.
Yeah, but it's either way. I think I'm just, it's hard to argue. Yeah,
fine.
Boone pulled Scott. That's exactly what.
Here's the thing, though. If that's their plan, they weren't executing that plan on Tuesday, because he came out of the game because he lost his contact, not for defense.
Well, I don't know what what the consistency of that plan is. I don't know if it's every single night. I don't know what the condition is.
Well, if it's you're pulling him for defense when it's a late and close situation, both Monday and Tuesday were late and close situations. The Yankees just took a lead in the seventh inning. Okay. Or I guess it was the sixth inning. So you'd have 7th, 8th. So maybe they're only pulling him for the last 2 innings on defense and not the last 3
I don't
innings.
know, man. Like,
but then again,
I'm just telling you
hold
what
on.
he said. I'm just telling you what he said.
I know what he said, but he talks out of his ass, because if you're pulling him only in the last 2 innings because you want to maximize his plate appearances, but also take him out for defense, okay, I understand that. But then there's no point to having him play defense in the 7th inning on Tuesday, because he just hit. So he's not going to hit in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah.
So you pull him.
So maybe the contact was the convenient way to say, we're going to pull you out, but he was going to do it anyway.
But if he was going to do it anyway, why wasn't Trent Grisham ready to go in the game? So I don't believe he was going to pull him in that inning. Okay. So again, this goes back to, yes, I believe there's a plan, but Boone also doesn't think beyond those plans, because if the plan is we're going to pull him for the last 2 innings of the game, the situation on Tuesday dictated, well, it just makes sense to pull him for the last 3 innings because he just hit in the 6th. He's not going to come up in the 7th, and I'm going to pull him in the 8th anyway.
Dude, you're forcing me into doing something that I don't want to do. Again, like, you're forcing me into this. What you're doing is making a point here that Boone, if you were to keep him in that game in that moment, was using his eyes and understanding a moment and seeing what was happening on the field and using the eye test to say, Dominguez just had a massive hit. Just open this game up and had a massive hit. And when you're looking at that, there's momentum in a game. There's a feeling in a game. And so maybe that is the plan, but there are moments where you could deviate from a plan based on what you are seeing. And that is something that we have criticized him for not doing. And right now, if that were the case and he was going to send him out there, probably because he just got that huge hit, and pulling him out, probably not the right time to do it in that moment. And I agree with that. If that would be the case, if he had his contacts in, going back out, how do you sit that guy after his adrenaline is going, after getting like the biggest hit of his career in front of the stadium, sending him out there where he's going to get a massive round of applause from the fans out there? That to me is actually using your eyes, managing in the moment, and doing what is in front of you. And so I actually applaud him for that. You just pushed me into that.
That would be like the moment when the caveman stood up and started walking on 2 legs.
But that's the thing. But that's it.
And I don't believe Boone has gone through that type of evolution.
He's done it a couple of times here. We've seen it. And look, Craig just made a good point too, which is funny. Grisham did make a fantastic play in center field.
No, I know. The next play.
Does Bellinger make that play? Very possible.
Probably. Probably. No, the point is, I'm not trying to say they should or shouldn't have pulled him. I'm just saying there's inconsistencies in what they're doing.
Fine.
And that's
Inconsistencies
the
in a plan based on what I'm
thing.
seeing in real life. If that evolution is happening, if we're seeing that evolution in real life in real time, then hell yeah, because that is one of the biggest knocks that I have on Boone as a manager, not feeling the game, feeling the moment, and doing the thing that is necessary for that particular moment in a baseball game. Because a baseball game has a pulse, it has a heartbeat, and if you can't read that pulse, then you're not doing your players or your team any justice. And I believe that he knows baseball. He's been around the goddamn game for as long as he has. His whole family has been around the game.
You would think he would, but see, that's the thing. I would think he should have a better pulse on the game, having literally been in baseball since he was an infant, because his father played baseball, his brother played baseball, he's played baseball, and now he's managing baseball, and he still, I feel like, doesn't have a pulse for the game.
And again, over the last 3 games, I disagree, because I think that he did what he was supposed to do.
3-game sample size instead of a 6-year sample size.
I'm looking for things, man. I'm looking for things. I like to be positive. I like to see the good side.
Fine. Yes, up until the last 3 games, then I guess he's incapable of deviating from the script, to the point where the script was, I'm going to bring in Nestor Cortes, who hasn't pitched in 6 weeks, in game 1 of the World Series to face Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Okay. I'm not going to use Tim Hill, who's been a really effective pitcher this entire postseason run, because the script says I'm going to bring Nestor Cortes in. I can't deviate from that. Now he's freaking like a rocket scientist when it comes to baseball. Like, he's cracked some. He's Edison.
No,
all of
baby
a sudden,
steps. Baby steps. This is what the regular season's for. It's developing.
Discovered the wheel.
No, the regular season is for obviously there's a lot of reasons why the regular season is intact and why you have to go through all these games to get there. It's a game of attrition. You have to get through the entire season, and you also have to make adjustments along the way and feel improvements and go through these things and be able to grow as a baseball player, as a baseball guy, as a manager. And maybe that's what we're seeing, a little bit of a little muscle memory right there. Let's lock that in, Boone, and remember that feeling, because if you weren't going to pull him, that was a great moment for Dominguez, and a moment for a young guy that hasn't had a moment like that in Yankee Stadium. Fair. Again, we will never know, because we don't know if he was going to, if he didn't go out because of his contact, but if he did go out there, he was going to get a standing ovation, and the crowd was going to be all over him and then he was going to get
pulled in the 8th inning, I guess.
Maybe. But again, like, if that's
can
the
I
deal,
tell you something?
Good.
Can I tell you something? I'm not prepared to do a full season of podcasting if you're going to be defending Boone.
Well, it's actually, the volume is a lot less.
So yeah, but I just don't. Yeah.
There's more time there. When you have a team that is going to win a lot more games than lose them, and you're only podcasting once a week, it's a lot easier to be positive.
No, but like, can we not be positive about Boone until like he actually proves something, like wins anything, or actually when the moment really matters? Or maybe if this team goes through some struggles middle of this season, how do they pull out of it? Or do they just freaking spiral like they have every other season under Boone?
If Jason Dominguez goes on a heater and you're seeing, him just making dazzling plays in left field because his confidence is up, then I'm going to go back and say, you know what, April 16th, which is, by the way, my anniversary, happy anniversary to my beautiful wife. And we're going to go back to that moment and say, you know what, this was the day. Boone did the thing and got the guys going.
So similar to how Volpe's going to take him 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to develop into a consistent player, it's taken Boone 6 or 7 seasons of managing before he's finally got a grasp on it.
Well, he's here, so we might as well have it happen.
He's here for the foreseeable future.
He's never leaving, so he might as well have it happen. We have 20 more years of him.
Last thing on Dominguez, and I really do not want to be right about this.
Oh, God, I know what you're going to say, because I saw you say it, and I don't even know why you have to go and say that. Why do you have to go into this headspace? Don't bring it down after that. Just control yourself.
I'm a little bit afraid he has some Gleyber.
Everybody should yell at you right now, because you should be able to control yourself and not go down this spiral of.
So that play last night where he got thrown out at second base, which was a moronic play by the second baseman trying to throw it to second base in the first place. There was 2 outs in the inning. I forget what inning it was. Dominguez was on first base. He was running to second base. It was a slow roller to the second baseman. All he had to do was flip it to first base, end of the inning. But instead, he tried to get Dominguez at second base, probably because he forgot how many outs there were, because it's the AL Central and they blow. But Dominguez running to second base, started jogging towards the bag because he's like, there's no way this moron's going to throw it here. I'm just going to trot into second base and the inning's probably going to be over, which I get. But also, you should just have the wherewithal on a baseball field to, when the play's happening, I'm just going to go 100% until the play's over. I'm not going to take anything for granted. And that's something Gleyber Torres would have done. He would have just fallen asleep at an inopportune time, and it cost the Yankees an out there.
Okay.
Did it matter in the game? Absolutely not. But
don't
a player could have just, if he just ran hard and slid into the bag, he's safe and the inning goes on and maybe they tack on some more runs. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. There's a lot of that in baseball too. I mean, did you see the double play that they turned on Sal Perez last night where Volpe makes the play, flips it to Jazz, and Jazz is just standing there like, eating peanuts and then throws it over because he knew
Jazz. I know. Jazz.
No, but Jazz, first of all, this is not a knock on Jazz by any means. Jazz understood who was running. Jazz knew that
Sal Perez,
but
who
also
would win in a foot race, Sal Perez or Stan? I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good one. It would be so frustrating to watch that, to be honest. It would be so frustrating.
Just for shits and giggles, you could have a Molina brother there regulating it.
Benji Molina coming up. He does have a huge ass, Sal Perez. Like just the lower half. He looks like a catcher. There's no doubt about it. But Jazz knew.
You put this in our chat. He's only 34 years old, and you were like, "How is this possible?"
When I saw how old he was, I was shocked because he's been around forever.
He was on the World Series winning team. Yeah,
I know. He's been around. When I saw that he's 2 years older than Judge,
I mean,
doesn't
he's
make any sense.
34 going on 44.
Dude, they're talking about his because his contract is coming up and they're going to re-sign him. I'm like, well, how many years? He's like, what is it, 38, 39, 34? I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. But Jazz had all the time in the world. And there's two reasons for that, because this is a little bit why some of the reasons why you're saying you can't go hard. You can't take guys out at second base anymore. And that's another thing. Jazz knows,
take him out.
But Jazz knows that he's good. Like he could just take his time. Although you can slide hard through the bag if you're going.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But guys don't do it. The guys don't do it because they don't want to get called out.
I'm not saying Dominguez has Gleyber Torres in him.
He doesn't. So stop that. He's also like 15 years old. So give him some slack. I'll blame the weather and I'll blame age when I need to. And I'm blaming, he can grow a beard. So we're good there, but he's a young guy.
And he's earning his beard. Rodon, I think Rodon needs to come out next, start clean shaven.
Rodon, yeah, he doesn't deserve it. He just needs to go. He needs the mustache. He looks like a mustache guy.
Just come out clean shaven next start and just be like, it's like pressing the reset button. We're doing over. We're doing this over.
If he wants to earn any respect with fans at this moment, he'll actually go out and say that. You know what? I shaved the beard. I don't deserve the beard. The Yankees made this policy that has been instituted for an extremely long time. And I'm disrespecting the policy right now. And I'm disrespecting the history of the game and the New York Yankees. So I'm going to shave the beard until I'm better. And when I'm pitching better and I can actually sack up in moments when I need to execute a pitch, then maybe my wife will let me grow the beard back. So
maybe
and wear some sleeves. Yeah.
There should be a thing where it's like players have to basically they have to put up, like, I want to grow a beard. And then it's a fan vote. There's like a trial date. Okay, yeah. We're gonna vote. We're gonna vote on June 1st.
Angry court from the fans. I like that.
We're gonna vote on June 1st if Rodon can grow the beard. You got to go clean shaven for the next month and a half. Yeah. Depending on what you do over the next month and a half, we'll decide if you can grow the beard or not.
It's a great idea. This is a fantastic idea. The engagement on this,
once again,
through the roof.
You and I need to just lead the common sense department for the New York Yankees.
The New York Yankees are really, really screwing this. I mean, they've clearly been listening and made some adjustments that have made sense recently.
Well, let's see if they implement this one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You did mention Judge, who was on a homerless streak, but you wouldn't know it because he was still getting 2 or 3 hits a night. His batting average is now up to 409. And this, by the way, is with zero protection behind him. Because Jazz, I know he's hit a couple of home runs recently, but other than that, has done absolutely nothing. His batting average is below 200. Volpe, who did have a hit last night, had also been in a slump. His batting average plummeted down into the low 200s. I really don't like Jazz and Volpe back-to-back in the order. And I know it's timing because in the early part of the season, torpedo bats, they were bashing the ball. And then they went through a 12-day cold streak, but it just seems like the two of them
Stop
back to
talking about
back.
the weather. Stop talking about the weather.
No, I said cold streak. Them
Yeah.
cold, not the weather cold. Jazz and Volpe, there's too many nothing at bats between the two of them back to back in the lineup.
Yeah. I don't disagree with breaking them up and seeing if you can't get something going there. But
do you know what the problem is?
I think Jazz is going to hit.
They need a righty though. That's why Volpe's there. They need a right-handed hitter hitting behind behind Jazz. And Dominguez, as we talked about, much better from the left side. They don't have Goldschmidt. Maybe it's Goldschmidt because I don't need Goldschmidt hitting leadoff or hitting at the top of the order.
He's been so good.
But maybe it's better to have him down there protecting. Judge has done all of this with zero protection behind him. That's the point, right?
But the other thing is that Goldschmidt's getting on base a lot too. So when you got a guy in front of you that's getting on base too, then
that helps. And you saw that
also
last year.
It's protection.
It is. And so this is funny because Soto's talking about, oh, no, I'm not getting pitches to hit without Judge hitting behind me. Yeah, no shit. I know this.
I gotta tell you, like, I love it. All right. I know he was only here for 1 year.
I'm going to play my mini violin for you, buddy.
I know here's only here for 1 year, but the fact that he's talking about it and complaining and just bitching, even though Alonso is like having, as good of a year right now statistically,
but it's not Judge.
It's ridiculous. I love
the Mets lineup is good. The Mets lineup is good. Lindor,
they're not
Soto,
hitting them.
No, I know,
besides Alonso.
They've got names though, is my point. Like they should be good. It's just funny, and I know this isn't actually the case, but it's just so funny to think like all of a sudden 2 weeks into the season it dawned on him like, why am I not getting all the pitch? Oh,
and he looks like such an asshat with that hoodie under he just looks like a moron. And he's struggling. And I gotta tell you, I put in the notes here. This is from before yesterday, so I don't know. Actually, I think he had like an 0 for 5 yesterday. Last I looked, he was like 0 for 5. But when you look at the numbers, and I know it's April 17th, but who cares? Because it's fun to do. But when
we're not going to have an opportunity to do this again.
Correct. This is like me touting Verdugo early in the year last year, going up against Bellinger, who was on the Cubs. Although. But Juan Soto versus Trent Grisham numbers that when I pulled them yesterday, it was Juan Soto 250, 3 home runs, and he had just hit 2 home runs before this. So it looked way worse the day before. 250, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 859 OPS. And Trent Grisham, 343, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 1.139 OPS. Oh my God. Talking about value right here. What a value that is. But that's fun to look at. It is fun to look at. I'm sorry, it is. And you know what?
Sure.
You're getting paid an insane amount of money to do. You need to be perfect, basically. And if you're not perfect, it's going to be a disappointment. And man, does he have a lot hanging on him for a long time.
That's another thing with like Soto's going to be fine. He's that good of a player. But I do believe there's something to be said for, even if he signed the $750 whatever million contract the Yankees last offered him, there would be leeway with the Yankees fans because he was on the team before that, powered them to the World Series, literally hit them into the World Series. So even if he signed the $700 million contract and got out to a cold start, that's all right, bud. We saw you hit us into the World Series last year. But now with the Mets, with a new team, you don't have that luxury. You have to be perfect from day one.
It's like we've been podcasting together for 10 years. I was going to say the exact
11th season.
11th season of podcasting. This guy has no room at all for anything. And, moving over to the other side, the other fear, because the Mets fans feel this. And I've never been a person or a Yankees fan that looks over to the other borough and said, I don't like you. Like I've never had a reason. I've just never felt that way. I hope the Mets do well. Good for them. Like I've never had a hatred towards them.
I think it's more fun when both teams are good.
But the Mets fans absolutely feel like the redheaded stepchild at all times. That's just like that's just how they are. And when you see the guy that had success over in the Bronx, took the team to the World Series, and then you took that guy, signed him to the massive contract, did the thing, and then he's not doing well. The things that creep in your mind of like, what did we do? And like they got over one over on us again. It's just like I know that's going into their mind. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. And you know what? It's funny. It's amusing to me. You find it amusing? I find it amusing. But yes, you're right. We're going to look at this at the end of the year and he's going to have fantastic numbers because that's what he is.
Because he's a fantastic hitter. It's just fun while we have the time to do it.
Yeah.
Judge was also named Team USA captain for the 2026 WBC, which is a great honor. He did not play in the last WBC. I forgot the reasoning. So he said it's because he was just coming off that free agency off season and he wanted to be with the team. Love it.
And he was named captain. And he was named captain. So
love to hear that kind of mushy crap.
What a team guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everything this guy does is the right thing. Every time I listen to him talk,
if he could just have caught the fly ball.
All right. He'll have another moment. Okay. He'll have an opportunity. This is what you get when you are humble, when you do the right things, you get more opportunities and you get grace in the eyes of fans.
Couple more things.
Unless your name is Neil Keefe.
We gotta wrap up in like 5 minutes. Couple more things. The Yankees were ranked number 5 in Major League Baseball front offices by voting of 40 executives. The Dodgers were number 1. They got by far the most votes. Then the Rays were number 2. You know, all of the executives just love the nerdiness of the Rays. They're doing so much with so little. Brewers were number 3. Okay, fine. Like, I guess, again, doing so much with so little. They do make the playoffs quite often, but they've never won anything. At least the Rays have made deep playoff runs. Like, the Rays were in the fake World Series the other year. The Rays have won some playoff series. The Guardians, number 4, which again, you see this trend here. Rays, Brewers, Guardians. What do they all have in common?
They do more with what they have. They have the ability to maximize their situation.
The Yankees were number 5. Braves were number 6. I'm surprised Braves were not higher because I do think the Braves, like, they've won and they've also been competitive and they've signed a lot of they've
done so many smart
signed
things.
A lot of young talent.
And I know there's injuries and things that you could look back on all those signings and it might not look good. History might tell a different story, but in the moment, what they have done with those extensions, I thought was absolutely.
They won a World Series.
It's really smart.
They've won a World Series. They've been competitive every year. So I thought the Braves should have been higher than the Rays, Brewers, and Guardians, frankly. Like, then the Phillies, Diamondbacks, Orioles, Padres, Mets, blah, blah, blah. The Yankees being number 5, I think that checks out. Like, I wouldn't say they're not better than the Dodgers, clearly. I think that a lot of Brian Cashman has so much respect. I learned this from talking to Martino through his book. Brian Cashman has so much respect among his peers. He's been doing it for going on 30 years of the general manager. He's been with the organization since the 80s. But he has respect, I think, because people from the outside see the consistency. And yes, the Yankees have had consistency. They've never had a losing record. They've only missed the playoffs once or twice under his helm in 2 years ago or whatever it was. And then in 2008, they missed the playoffs as well. So you've been in the playoffs virtually every season. They've only won one World Series since the 2000 season, but I think it's the consistency factor. And I do think executives outside look at it and be like, if I was in that position, the pressure I would be under. So I think that's what they are acknowledging that Cashman is under. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying the Yankees should be bottom 5. They're a disaster. I think 5, somewhere in the 5 to 10 range, I think is where they belong. The thing is, though, they could be the Dodgers. The Dodgers are working with all the resources in the world. The Yankees also have all the resources in the world. Why are the Dodgers getting by far and away the most votes? It's because they've actually produced and the Yankees haven't.
Well, yeah, they also won the World Series. If the Yankees had won the World Series last year, I bet this is a little different. But there's a respect factor, like you said. I think that's the number one reason why they are so high, and the fact that they're competitive every year. But Brian Cashman has a ton of respect. If Brian Cashman lands closer to 10, like there's probably something in the back of everybody's mind that he's going to send minions out to find out who the hell voted and put, you know what I mean? Like, and then that's going to hurt my career. So I feel like they all, at this point where he is in his career and where he's done it, which is a big factor in this, he's going to get a ton of high votes no matter what.
The only one I really don't understand is the Brewers, but anyway,
who's the Brewers GM? I don't know who the front office is over there, but there's also, like, I don't know if there's a respect factor there too, which I'm sure. I'm surprised Phillies aren't. Where were the Phillies in that
The
list?
Phillies were below the Braves. The Phillies, though,
Phillies are up there though. They're what, 7?
Yeah, they've
Dombrowski. Look, Dombrowski has been a guy who has been someone.
He's a hired gun. He's a hired gun.
But look at what he's done here. He's actually been here for quite some time. He's brought guys on for longer.
5 years or so.
Yeah, but he's usually there for where he just like
he
demolished. He's been a guy that's like just a bull in a china cabinet coming through, just getting rid of the minor league system, getting all the big free agents coming over and going after it in that moment. They've sustained. Did
he sign Harper?
Sustained.
Did he make the Harper signing?
I don't know if that was in the beginning. I'm not sure.
No, that was before, because Harper signed with Philly before the 2019 season, because that was the season the Nationals won the World Series.
Yeah, I think Dombrowski has actually like changed his style a little bit in the way that he's put this team together. So I think he's actually adjusted. So
the thing is,
he's grown a bit.
The Astros are near the bottom, and I get why, but at the same time, they shouldn't be near the bottom.
Yeah, well, fuck the Astros.
Yankees are, quote, on the road for 4 in Tampa at Steinbrenner Field. The Rays have played a ton of home games because they're front-loading them. Here's a question. Would George have allowed the Rays to play their season at Steinbrenner Field?
He would have put them through something more embarrassing and like public. If George were around for the social media era, it would have been fun to watch, to be honest, because you'd see a lot more like antics, I think, and like Trump-like stuff, like bend the knee before you can come in and use my stadium. So maybe he would have done that, but they would have had to jump through a hell of a lot more hoops, I think, to do it. But my gut says no.
When you're driving to Steinbrenner Field,
also his name is on it, so maybe he likes that. He would have liked that too. Like you're playing,
but he would has my name on it. He would have put up like more gaudy Yankees and Steinbrenner signage and stuff like that. No, you have to stay in the visitor clubhouse. You're not coming in the home clubhouse if you're gonna be playing here.
That statue out front would have been dipped in bronze.
It would have been made 6 times larger too.
Yeah,
you could have on sunny days you could have seen the shadow over home plate. That's how big it would have been. Yeah. But when you're driving to Steinbrenner Field, you pass like a field on the side of the road before you get to the Tampa Bay Bucks. He would have had them. He would have had them over there.
He would have put them in the parking lot.
He would have had them playing on that field. Yeah, it's got like metal bleachers. Got like 3 rows of metal bleachers. That's all the fans are going to draw.
10x fencing. Yeah, maybe make the 10x fencing sky blue for their colors.
Yeah,
that would fit. I mean, that's basically the Trop. I just don't know why. Just throw some grass on the Trop and play there. How about that?
Yeah, it's like, what's the difference? You got no roof anyway.
Throw some grass in there and play ball.
The thing is, though, the highlights I've seen,
Stingrays will be happy.
The place seems like it's actually kind of fun. Like there's fans there. It's in Tampa. Like they're probably visiting fans still, but like if anything, I think this is going to convince the city of Tampa to give the Rays an actual field in Tampa, or they're going to be like, all right, screw it, just go to Nashville.
Yeah, I don't know how they overcome this, to be honest. Fix the Trop, like what is that?
No, don't fix.
Put some dynamite in there overnight and figure it. And oops, that's an insurance lighted on fire situation. Although it's concrete, so you can't really do that. It's all concrete. It's just a concrete block.
The insurance, the hurricane also took care of that. They insured.
Or maybe the roof was just, like the damage didn't happen to the rest of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just funny to think what Steinbrenner would have had them do in order to play their season there.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Trop's going to be one of these places that you look back and it looks like the apocalypse. Because there's going to be like, just things growing and because it's open still, like the elements are happening in that place. You're going to look back and be like, man, it was one of these things where the deed was weird. We couldn't do anything. There was a lien on it. Nobody can touch it because of liability reasons. And now there are like giraffes living in there and snakes and like crocodiles. And like, it looks like a movie that happened after the apocalypse occurred.
If an asteroid ever does wipe us all out, and then 2,000 years from now, people are exploring and they just come across in St. Petersburg this giant concrete what is this? What
People
happened
will be there because it's like a safe place. They can make a home in that. It's like a bunker. So there actually might be human life happening.
What are these purple strobe lights?
Is this a minor league hockey arena?
Is this a catwalk? All right, that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, again, reminder for everyone, Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, we're recording and streaming live on YouTube. Please join us there. Scott's always checking the comments. Logan's not with us today. When he is, he checks the comments. Thank you also to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. If you're going to a game, anything, not just, we've also got NBA and NHL playoffs coming up. Make sure to download the app and use code Bronx for $20 off your first purchase. We'll talk to you guys next Thursday.
Later.
You got it.
I got to end the stream.